Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So this is Practical Research 2, and I am making this video lesson for writing. The specific topic is writing the review of related literature. So this is supposedly the chapter 2 of your research paper. So what is it anyway? We have been writing RRL. I mean, you have had experience last year of writing the review of related literature. So what is it anyway? So it's a compilation of studies related to a specific area of research. It evaluates, classifies, and summarizes all the relevant previous studies conducted on a specified topic. It is also designed to justify your research by exposing the gaps of the previous study. Yun nga kasi diba ang isa sa mga objective why human beings do research is that we acknowledge the fact that the knowledge that we have right now is not complete. We acknowledge that there are gaps, in the human knowledge, and the review of related literature will show that there is indeed a gap, and that gap will be fulfilled if your research is conducted. So the RRL will show the importance and relevance of the entire research. Because, for example, if you are the only one who is researching about a specific topic, then why? Then what is the importance of that research if you are the only one, no? But it is most unlikely that you are the only one. That is why we have RRL, to show that there are other research that was already conducted before, and you would just want to either upgrade, enhance, or improve, or apply to a different setup, apply to a different setting, apply to a different population, the same idea or concepts from the previous research, no? So that is one of the basic goal and importance why we are writing review of related literature. And it needs to be centralized, no? It needs to be centralized, because if it's not centralized, then it branches out a lot of things. So hindi ka matapos technically. At ma-relate mo ang isang bagay to another, hindi ka talaga matatapos. That is why it needs to be centralized. No? It should form a picture for the reader, providing a support and full comprehension of the developments in the field. So for example, if you are talking about profitability of small businesses, then most probably marami ng research ang na-conduct about the profitability of small businesses, and probably some of this research has already said or stated that the amount of time na bukas ang isang store affects the profitability. So pwede mo na yun siyang i-relate ngayon sa yung study na yung impact nga naman ng curfew, which limits the time, no, na open for business ang isang store or ang isang business, no? So that in itself, you can use that type of research to back up your own research. Okay? So that is a review of related literature. So there are 3 ways of using RRL in the discussion part. Ang discussion natin, remember, is chapter 4, results and discussion. Na-mention ko rin nung nagklase tayo nung Wednesday that you can use your RRL as an evidence for your discussion, no? So there are 3 common ways of using RRL in your discussion part. So number 1 is providing a context as a foundation to develop your ideas. Like for example, if you have the data, idinaan mo na siya sa statistical treatment. Sometimes kasi yung numbers na makukuha mo after the statistical treatment, it might not mean anything, no? Unless you're just getting the average, you're just getting the mean average, then that makes sense, no? It will be easy to what do you call this one, to discuss that kind of result. But what if you are doing a different type of research? What if nandoon ka na sa mga matataas at complex na research like correlation? You know, correlation is finding the relationship between two different variables. And what if nagregression ka na, or andoon ka na sa mga covariant and all those upper level or complex research studies. So, kailangan mo na ngayon ng evidence or citation. Like for example, you will say that according to a study conducted in 2012 by, let's say, Guzman and Santos, apparently the difference between these two specific variables means that, so meron siyang meaning, and then you can relate that to the findings that you got from your own research. No? So it will make meaning of your own ideas, and so that you can conclude later on after discussing these results. Also, yes, number 2 is comparing your findings from other previously related studies, especially kung replicated, kung gi-replicate mo lang yung research na yon. So you can compare these things, like for example, yung kina Catherine. I'm sure a lot of people has already conducted the reading comprehension. Each region in the Philippines is actually conducting this research every year, no? Even the national government or the National Statistical Office is conducting this one so that we will have a grade, no? Kasi nga kailangan natin ito in order for us to improve our educational system. So i-compare mo lang yung mga yung pwede mo siyang i-compare to your own findings to the findings of earlier or previous studies conducted, and then you can arrive to a conclusion that maybe the grade 10 reading comprehension in Wisdom Islamic School is not that good because it is lower than the reading comprehension of the entire Region 11, or maybe Region 12, or maybe the national level, the Philippine level reading comprehension. So you can enrich your study by using different types of RRL and using it onto your discussion. And last is stating what contribution your study has made in the field. Especially yung mga research studies na guys, na parang gi-continue mo. You got your research problem from a recommendation coming from a previous study. Then therefore, pag nagawa mo yung recommendation niya, you were able to create a research out of that at natapos mo yung research na yun. Therefore, nadugtungan yung solution doon sa main problem ninyong dalawa, right? So, you can now say that you were able to contribute something as a solution to that specific topic or problem. So, those are the basic 3 ways of using RRL in your discussion part. Itong discussion, guys, again, that is the part 4 or the chapter 4 of your research study, which is the results and discussion. This is where you discuss your own findings. Number 5. Sorry, slide 5. Okay, 3 common errors in using RRL in your discussion. There are a wide range of studies being included in which most of them are not anymore relevant to your specific topic under investigation. Yun na nga yung sinabi ko kanina, if you branch out, if you are not centralized, parang ang dami mong gustong studyhan at one time, or you did not find that one specific, what do you call this one, scope ng research na gusto mong, or ng topics, I should say, na gusto mong i-research, then sometimes nakakalagay ka or nakakasali ka ng mga research na irrelevant na, hindi na relevant sa iyong sa sarili mong research, no? And this one, stating the related article, mentioning the original article rather than citing the original article itself. Nakakalito, no? Ang ibig sabihin lang yan, guys, is that, for example, in one research, for example lang, in my research, sinite ko or I referred to a thesis conducted by, let's say, Mababaya. Okay? So, Sa research ko ha, in my research, I would say, according to a study from Mababaya 2012, ganito, ganito, ganito ang findings. And now, here you are doing your own research at nakita mo yung research study ko. So, isa-cite mo ngayon yung research study ko, but aside from citing my research study, if you are going to get that statement from the Mababaya research, kailangan mo rin siyang i-cite. Okay? Ito ang mahirap sa research, guys, and this is one of the things that I am personally guilty of this one. Nakakalimutan kong puntahan yung totoong research. Nakakapagod nga naman kasi, no? Na isa-cite mo na nga yung pinagkunan mo nung statement na yun, hahanapin mo pa sa literature cited niya mismo kung saan niya kinuha yung statement na yun at pupuntahan mo pa yung original article, no? So, it's really hard, but in honor of not plagiarizing, we have to do such work. Okay? Siguro, ngayong grade 12 kayo, hindi pa ito masyadong mabigat, no? This is not much of a big deal, but when you get to college, it's going to be a big deal. Kasi nga, you will have a panelist, no? A board, a committee, ethical committee, you will have English critic. Ang dami mong pagdadaanan para lang maipasa yung research paper mo. So, ngayon pa lang, na grade 12 ka, even though I, as your advisor, may not be as strict, no? Especially with our situation right now. Maybe I will not be strict. So, i-practice mo na lang din, diba, yung sarili mo na ayusin yung trabaho mo ngayon pa lang, no? Kasi nga, in the future, gagawin mo rin naman yun. Lalo na kung meron kang balak na mag-attorney or mag-medical doctor, it is very crucial that you cite the original article. Okay? So, previous work has been cited by the researcher based only on the abstracts and without even reading the entire research. I am very guilty of this one. Ano, nakakapagod kasi talaga magbasa ng research paper. So, there are times na titignan ko na lang yung abstract. Kasi yung abstract yung executive summary ng research. Kung meron ka ng summary sa chapter 5, no? Summary, conclusion, and recommendation. Yung abstract, yun ang pinaka summary. Summary talaga siya ng buong research paper. No? So there are times na doon ko na lang tingnan yung findings, hindi ko nabasahin kung ano yun. But there are times kasi guys na hindi siya kompleto ang abstract. No? So mas maganda pa rin talaga na ano niya siya, basahin niyo yung buong article, huwag kayong tumulad sa akin na tamad. Okay, huwag kayong magtatamad. Huwag kayong tumulad kay Teacher Sura. Okay. Anyway, so those are the common errors in using RRL. So next. Okay, so what is the purpose? Again, baka hanggang ngayon naiirita pa rin kayo. Ano nga ba ang RRL? Huwag kayong mag-alala, ako din. There are times, no, actually, okay, wait lang, sorry. Nagets ko na actually ang purpose ng RRL. It's just that mahirap pa rin siyang isulat. It doesn't make it any easier, no? Knowing the purpose of something, it doesn't make it any easier while doing it, no? But it's okay. So, since it is important, then we really have to do it, no? Because in doing the RRL, marami kang maiintindihan, no? Marami kang marirealize na, okay, pwede ko pala itong pagstudihan, pwede ko pa pala itong isali sa research ko, or you will find some other methodologies on other people's researches na makita mo na, hala, ito na lang sana ang ginamit ko, or it would have made my life easier kung ito sana yung ginamit ko na procedure or na methodology, no? So, if you keep on reading other researches that are related to your own topic, madami kang marirealize, guys. Marami kayong matututunan on your own, and you will be able to enhance your own writing of the research skills. So, a lot of this, you can, okay, well, let me just read them. Ipapabasa ko na lang sana sa inyo, pero okay, fine. So, you can discover the connection of your research to the existing body of knowledge and to the real-life situations, no? And then, you can identify more theories or concepts as the foundation of your research study and learn from them. Especially kung gustong-gusto mo yung research na ginagawa mo. So, you can have more concepts and theories, lalo na kung, let's say, for example, you are trying to study about the growth of the human brain, or alam niyo yung study last time nila ay Cardo, yung proposal nila na hindi nila tinuloy. Yung ang gusto nila sa study na yon is that they are trying to propose that mas maganda mag-start ang klase by 9 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. Yun yung gusto nilang iparating sa research na yon. And then apparently, when I was, syempre, so since si Icardo nag-propose, so nagtingin-tingin ako ng mga research studies that can back up, that they can use as a reference. And I was able to see that apparently, yeah, there are a lot of research out there na nagsasabi na mas maganda kung mag-start ng 9 a.m. because apparently, mas mataas yung brain activity that time, no? So, yeah, you can really find other concepts and theories whenever you read other people's research studies, sorry. So, also to determine the relationship of your research with previous research studies, okay, and prevent duplication. Kasi nga, bakit natin ina-avoid ang duplication aside from plagiarizing or plagiarism? We also avoid duplication kasi nga, masasayang lang yung oras mo and na-research na pala. Diba? No? But, baka isipin niyo, teach, paano yung mga nag-replicate lang? Ibang setting man, ibang location, ibang population. Then that is okay. Because again, yes, that is okay. Kasi, iba nga yung setup, iba yung setting. Iba na namang factors, maraming factors na naman ang naka-affect doon, no? Ang ibig niya sabihin dito ng duplication is something of, like, for example, nag-research ako about the performance of LIS, kunwari, or yung gusto kong i-research ngayon, difference between the performance of Google Meet at saka Big Blue Button at saka Zoom, no? Baka pag nag-research ako about that, apparently may nakagawa na ng research na yun, no? At titingnan ko na lang na, okay, baka mas effective pala ang Google Meet, or baka mas efficient pala ang Zoom. So, malay mo, may nakaisip na nun at may nakakonduct na ng study, no? Pero usually, guys, yung mga sociology, psychological studies, medical studies, basta nag-iba lang yung sample population, mag-iiba na rin yung study. So to acquire knowledge on the accuracy and significance of your research questions, yes, kasi nga dito mo rin marirealize na your research questions might be questionable din pala yung questions mo, parang hindi pala siya pwede. Or it might be that, pag nakuha ko yung sagot, wala palang mangyayari, So, to acquaint yourself with the technical terminologies relevant to your study, yes, kasi hindi mo alam lahat ng bagay-bagay. So, especially sa mga studies ninyo, because you are senior high school, ano ba ang alam natin sa pedagogy? Ano ba ang alam natin sa distance learning? That is a teaching strategy kasi, that is a modality. So, ano bang alam natin sa mga bagay na to, di ba? Unless magbabasa tayo at pagpapag-aaralan natin kung ano itong mga bagay-bagay na to. Okay? So, it determine possible gaps, okay? Kanina pa tayo sa mga gap na yan. Conflicts and open questions left from other researchers which might help you in formulating and justifying your research ideas. Because other research studies na previously conducted na, kahit sila, marami silang open questions, kaya nga meron tayong recommendation part, no? Doon sa recommendation mo, sasabihin ko ano yung mga possible pa na problem coming from your own research or possible improvement, innovation, and enhancement na pwedeng gawin ng other researchers to find more about the topic. Okay? And lastly, to clarify misconceptions and previous researches and help refocus, polish, and contribute to the development of the body of knowledge. Kasi nga, just like our research, yung mga previous research na nakandak, hindi rin tayo sure na tama yung pagkakandak nila. All the time, sa statistical treatment, meron tayong nilalaan na error. So, we cannot be sure, no? And by the way, aside from naturally, we are not sure of the research findings, hindi rin tayo sure kung paano nila kinuha ang data, no? Kasi, malay mo, nag-data fabricate pala sila. Fabrication lang pala yun, diba? Or it might be manipulated data. So, wala diba? So, hindi siya concrete, hindi siya tamang knowledge. So, you really have to Read a lot of RRL. Wag kayong makontento sa isa or dalawa lang na research papers, but rather 5, 10 na research papers dapat ang binabasa ninyo in order to create a very good RRL. Okay. So, next, structure of the RRL. Sinabi ko nga dati sa grade 7 at saka grade 8 na tinuturuan ko ng English, ito lang talaga. Sa kahit anong essay, sa kahit anong sinusulat ko na paper, kahit anong paper pa yan, ito lang ang structure na iniisip ko all the time. Intro, main body or the body, and then the conclusion. Yan lang talaga, guys. So, pangunahan mo, no? Lagyan mo lang ng konting introduction. Konting, tawag dito, a brief introduction lang talaga. And, konti lang talaga. Wag kang mag-explain agad-agad, no? Kailangan i-ano mo siya. Kailangan bigyan mo siya ng intro. Anyway, wait lang, guys. Now, it's here. Anyway, so afterwards, pag meron ka ng intro, konti lang, no? Hindi yan dapat maglampas ng isang paragraph. So, next is the main body. This is now the core explanation. Dito ka na isagad mo na lahat ng explanation mo, no? Dito sa main body. So, but meron kasi tayong tinatawag na, naalala ko na yung term, guys, no? Organization and cohesiveness. Dapat cohesive siya. Ibig sabihin, magkakarugtong-dugtong yung ideas mo. Hindi tayo meron ba kayong kaibigan na kung magkwento siya, parang alam mo yun, yung magkwento siya na, tapos ba, ay sandali, hindi pala, wait lang, balikan natin yung kailangan niya pang magganon. Di ba nakakalito minsan yung kwento pag ganon, no? So, dapat itong main body mo, i-structure mo na siya na maganda ang flow. So, organize and cohesive. Ano ibig sabihin again ng cohesive? Para siyang merong karugtong. So, that is why we use the terminology such as furthermore, moreover, thereafter, heretofore, yung mga words na yan, mga linking, linking words, transitionary words ba ang tawag dyan? I'm not sure kung anong tawag sa kanila. We use those words para magmukhang tuloy-tuloy, no? Yung kwento mo. So, that is how you should create your main body for the RRL. And the last one is the conclusions or recommendations. Ito yung mag-e-emphasize, no, what you have learned from reviewing the literature and where does your study leads it to, no? Kumbaga ba saan na lugar ang study mo sa out of all the body of knowledge that you were able to learn from the RRL. So this is where we are right now. And then, tutuloy na yung reader mo ngayon papunta sa methodology because the reader would be able to understand why the research is being conducted in the first place. Okay, so that is one of the reasons, again, so that is the structure of RRL and the reason why we are doing or writing the RRL. So we have types of literary review or literature review. To be honest with you guys, hindi to na ano sa amin, hindi ko to napag-aralan tong types of literature review because when you are in college, wala na kayong research, guys, no? Dapat na pag-aralan natin to nung high school pa. So I was so technically yung research, yung literary, yung RRL writing skills ko is hanggang ngayon nagbabase pa rin ako noong sa natutunan ko noong high school ako, no? But the technical part, yung format, citation, referencing styles, dun ko na yan nakuha sa technical writing nung college, first year college. Okay? So, buti kayo ngayon. So, alhamdulillah, good for you guys. We will be able to tackle these different types of literature review. So, anyway, first one, we have context review. And then apparently, na-realize ko kanina, no, na ito pala usually ang ginagawa ko, either this one or the other one. Okay, I will tell later. So ang context review is focus on the content and the contextual aspect of the research. Again, ang ibig sabihin lang naman ng context is what are the circumstances that have led you to have this type of research, no? And also context is like saang aspeto ka or saang anggulo ka nakatingin Kasi ka-broad ng mga topics, guys, meron ka dapat isang angle or isang entrance, no, na yun yung i-approach mo, yun yung ita-target mo so that you can have that research. So it is on the content or the contextual aspect. Paano nangyari na kailangan mong i-research to? What have led you to realize that this is indeed a problem that needs to be discussed or needs to be studied? No? Yun ang ibig sabihin ng context. So mag-example na lang ako. Like for example, yung online versus modular a comparative study between those modalities in the reading comprehension of grade 10. So ipapakita mo ngayon na there are differences, no, between the online learners and the modular learners, and their different the different effect on different students and how it actually affects reading comprehension. So that in itself, konteksto na yun. Yun na yung konteksto kung bakit ka gumawa ng research na ganun. So tatlo ka agad ang itatakel mo doon sa iyong RRL. First is, of course, the different modalities, sasabihin mo doon. And then, i-specify mo ngayon ang online at saka ang modular. Actually, may pang-apat pa, no? So, the reading comprehension itself has its own factors. And for sure, na-studyhan na to ng mga tao before, no? So, kailangan mong i-include yon as a context of why you needed to research this type of study. Next, historical review. Ito medyo mahirap to, guys, pakibasa na lang ha. Pero mahirap siya in a sense na gumagawa ka ng timeline, no? Gumagawa ka ng timeline and it's a chronological order. And starting from the most recent up to the oldest, no? Anything that is rudimentary or relevant to your research paper. Let's say lang ha, ang inistudihan mo is about the COVID-19 virus, how it came to be, no? Or gusto mong studihan kung paano nag-e-spread ang coronavirus. So, kung historical review ang gagawin mo, then probably lahat ng kasali sa pamilya ng virus na to, kasi ang SARS, di ba, kasali sa ano na to, it started really from flu, no? And then it became to the pneumonia, and then nagkaroon na ng ano yun? Oh my God, I forgot. H1N1 virus, merong SARS-E-CoV, something. So there are a lot of different viruses, no? So you have to chronologically cite them. Paano nag-evolve? How did it evolve up to nagkaroon na ng COVID-19 ngayon? No? So where did it originated? You can add that to your RRL and create a historical review about that. Okay? So next is the integrative review. Ito rin ang isa sa mga ginagamit ko. So context at saka integrative. Actually, this is the most commonly used and it usually is merged with context review. Ang integrative naman is lahat na ng feeling mo relevant sa yung study, binasa mo at sinamarize mo into one. That's it, no? And most of the time, recent study, by the way, recent naman talaga, no? Technically, ang magagamit natin. Why? Because 5 years, may expiration na po ang data coming from research studies ngayon. 5 years, pag 5 years old na ang data, it is not relevant anymore. At pag 10 years na ang research study, hindi na siya pwedeng gawin na RRL except it is a theory already, no? Or the integrity and the authenticity of the research is mataas. Like for example, yung mga ginagamit natin ngayon, yung sila, I forgot the name. Like for example, yung sa sociology, yung kina Max Weber, yung kina Auguste Comte, or kina Sorokin, or kina Levi Strauss, no? Those studies, yung mga research nila, actually, 1940s pa, 1920s. But then, it's okay because the integrity, yung kataas nung ng level ng research nila. So, okay pa rin. But, for college level na mga research papers, guys, 10 years lang yan, it is going to be irrelevant na. No? I just realized that as well in my research study. Kasi nga, ang research study ko is MVC framework, di ba? So, that was 2010. So, 10 years na ngayon ang research paper ko, no? But then I realized that yes, yung data ko at yung findings ko noong 2010 would not matter anymore this day. Why? Because I looked into the MVC framework and it is now MVC 4.0. At mukhang palabas na ang MVC 5.0. So, kung ano man yung enhancement or yung findings ko na mabilis nga ang web application noong 2010 when you are integrating MVC framework onto the web development, wala na siya, be. Lampas na doon. Ang dami nang nangyari for the last 10 years in the web application topics. Ang dami na. Nagkaroon na ng JavaScript, dumating na ang JSON, dumating na ang HTML5. Wala na ang MVC framework, but it has already in itself tawag dito, dumaan na sa napakaraming changes, kaya nga meron ng MVC 4.0, no? So, yes, really, wala nang sa college level publications, pag 10 years na, wala na siya, hindi na siya masyadong relevant talaga, no? So, ang integrative review, you will use recent knowledge, which is 5 years, within the 5 years. So, siguro pwede kayong gumamit ng data na galing sa 2015 to 2020. Okay. So, that was integrative review. Sorry. Okay. Methodological review naman. Ito naman, it focuses on the methods. No? This is usually applicable to experimental designs. Kasi nga, you are more on the methods. Kasi pag experimental, guys, no, napaka-crucial talaga ng methods, ng setup, lalo na kung laboratory research ito siya, ng setup, ng facility na gagamitin mo, ng tawag dito, ng samples mo, yung population, it is really very crucial. So, methodological review is very crucial when it comes to experimental research studies, no? So, like research designs, yung samples, yung process itself, paano niya ginawa. So, tawag dito, mga invention at saka mechanical discoveries. This is also good. Like, for example, gusto mong mag-recreate. Alam niyo yung Rubik's Cube, guys? Study yan ng isang mathematician, no? Sino nga? Si Rubrik. Si Rubrik ang nagawa niyan. Actually, ang pinakauna niyang gustong gawin is a game. Yan kasi sila yung mga mathematician before. So, mathematician nga sila. Sobrang tatalino nila. Tapos, magagaling sila lahat sa chess. Kapoy na palagi na lang panalo sa chess, di ba? Nakakairita, di ba? Parang ganun. So, gumagawa sila ng sarili-sarili nilang laro. Sila yung gumagawa ng sarili-sarili ng laro. And, yung mga laro nila is usually puzzles. Ibig sabihin, merong mathematical formula within. Yes. Okay, so ito si Rubrik, nag-invento siya ng Rubik's Cube. No? And actually, no, meron niyang mathematical formula because there are, masolve mo actually yan siya. Kaya nga yan siya merong algorithm. Because it has a process. You know? So, na-upgrade yung Rubik's Cube na yan. So, from 3x3, meron ng 4x4, meron na yung 3D, meron na yung kung ano-ano na ang shape, no? But then, still the same, not really the same, but upgraded algorithm. At yung mga algorithm na yan, actually, hindi ko lang talaga na-studyhan, so I cannot tell you. But it has a mathematical theory behind it, no? Kahit nga yung chess, it has a mathematical theory behind it. Damath, Saidamath, all of these things, they have a mathematical theory and concept behind them. Kahit yung ML, guys, no? Kung iisipin nyo lang talaga, tanungin nyo yung mga nag-program ng ML, they will tell you it's not just about the game. It's actually about the mathematical concepts behind and how it is being applied to the theories of computer science and how it is now being applied onto game development or programming. So, Grabe yan talaga sila actually, guys. Anyway, so that is methodological review. Again, you emphasize on the process, on the procedures, what went there. Okay? Next. Now, self-study review, I don't like this one. The researcher demonstrates his or her understanding of a specific body of knowledge. So, parang binasa mo lahat ng mga related studies and then you created your own understanding. Parang kang nag-report, kumbaga pa, no? This may be alright if napakataas ng level of understanding mo. Like, let's say you are, kasi ka-level ka nila Einstein, ganyan, you can create your own theory. So, hindi, diba? So, medyo mahirap-hirap to siya. So, this might not be relevant to you, but for your information na lang, there is a self-study type of review of related literature. And I think this is the last one, theoretical review. So, the researcher introduces several theories or concepts that are focused on a specific topic. This is commonly used in psychological, well, anyway, hindi lang psychological, kahit education. Actually, sa education, guys, ang daming psychological theories na pwedeng gamitin sa educational research studies. Kahit sa, let's see. Kahit sa mathematics, chemistry, biology, physics, engineering, ano pa ba? Wait lang, nag-iisip pa ako. Actually, guys, no, kahit sa Islamic studies, maraming theoretical or maraming theories na pwedeng gamitin in order to create the review of related literature. So, ang gagamitin mo ngayon as a basis in creating the relationships or the entire picture of your research study is by pointing out the different theories that leads to this problem. So, that is the theoretical review. Next. So, meron tayong common sources of RRL. Probably, ang pinakauna yung source these days is Google. Yehey. That's fine, no? I am guilty of this one as well. Google talaga ang una kong puntahan. Pinupuntahan pala, I mean. So, but I hope you can, alam nyo guys, namimiss ko minsan pumunta sa library. No? Namiss ko yung mga times na magigising ako ng maaga ng Saturday para lang pumunta sa library. I can still remember my very first reporting topic in my first year high school. That is uranium. And I spent like 2 days in the library. So, 2 Saturday yun. Kasi, I don't have time to go to the library during weekdays kasi nga may klase, no? And then, only Saturdays lang ako makapunta doon sa university library. Kasi kung doon lang sa library ng school namin, ng high school department, napaka-limited ng resources. So, doon ako pumupunta sa university library talaga. And then, you know, ang ganda lang doon kasi first of all, tahimik. So, nakakamiss minsan pumunta sa library. At magsulat. Alam mo yun, yung tinitake note mo talaga yung mga bagay-bagay na relevant na pwede mong i-report, no? Maganda talaga sana. I just miss it. Sorry naman. Anyway, so, alam nyo guys, no, kung saan na lang meron tayong books sa bahay, we can definitely use the books as a resource for RRN. One of the things that makes a book authentic, no, is that hindi yan ipapublish kasi ng isang publishing company unless it has went through a lot of editing, a lot of fact-checking. So, isa yan sa mga dahilan kung bakit reliable pa rin talaga ang makukuha mong information sa books, no? Hindi lang yung nakukuha mo lang sa Wikipedia or blogs or kahit sabihin natin na expert pa yung nagsulat ng blog, no? Because sometimes even the expert nagkakamali rin sila. So, there is really something authentic on the information gathered from books. So, books pa rin talaga ang pinakaunang resource for your RRN. Second is the scholarly journals or the journals, no? Ang journal kasi guys, if kung alam niyo lang yung process para makapublish kayo ng isang research paper, first of all, of course, kailangan niyo siyang ipasa sa sarili ninyong university, right? Yung research paper na yon. And then after niyo siya ipinasa sa isang panel, sa harapan ng isang panel in your university or your college or your institution, whatever that is, iba-iba kasing klase ng paaralan guys, merong university, merong state college, merong college lang, merong institution, so we can never be sure. So it has to be it have to pass a panel body, and then kailangan siyang ma-present sa isang convention or conference or program or in-house review or some sort of review, research review, no? Kung saan nag-gather ang mga tao na nagre-research. Maraming ganyan, guys. Like for example, sa amin, we have the Philippine Society of Information Technology Educators or PSITE. So, nagkakaroon sila ng conference every year and to apply, para makapag-present ka ng sarili mong research paper, you have to apply. No, you have to apply for it. So, pili lang ang pwedeng makapresent ng research paper nila. You know what, guys, it actually made me proud nung pag-graduate ko, yung research paper ko, I was able to present, like not even a year after I graduated, I was able to present in the PSITE Region 12 press conference. Conference. And I wasn't even 20 that time. So I was like, wow, mashallah. Alam niyo, it was really good, guys, no? It's just that, na-present ko nga yung research ko, pero hindi ko naman siya ipinasa para ma-publish sa isang journal. Ang mga journals kasi, guys, only the most relevant research studies are being published. Especially nung kapanahunan pa dati. Imagine nyo na lang nung panahon pa ng 1970s, 80s, 1990s. Sobra-sobra ang hirap mag-publish ng tawag dito ng research studies. But now, I realized nowadays, medyo madali na siya, guys. Kasi nga, marami ng publishing, marami ng nagpa-publish ng mga journals, marami ng mga conference. Minsan nga, yung iba online na lang, bayaran mo na lang yung publishing journal. Then, ipapublish na nila yung research mo. Let me see. So, okay. Wow, this one. Yes, nasa hospital ako this time, kaya yung professor ko lang ang pumunta sa Cebu para mag-present nito. Sayang, nakakairita lang. Anyway, so as you can see. Okay, so 12 Cebu International Conference on Advances in Science, Engineering, and Technology. So, that is ICA SET 18. So, yeah. It was published on 2018. Nakaka-proud lang minsan, guys, na nandyan yung pangalan mo. You know? Tapos, na-publish siya in an international journal pa talaga. So next is the periodicals. Ang periodical naman is, parang accumulated din siya ng mga resources. Published din, of course. Hindi naman ipapublish yung periodical kung hindi siya authentic and reliable. So, that could be a possible source of your RRL din. Dissertations naman, or dissertations, depende kung ano yung pagbasa ninyo. That is the thesis of doctoral, mga doctors. Depende kung anong klaseng doctoral ka. Educational doctor ka ba? Philosophical doctor, PhD, ED, medicinal doctor, medical doctor, ano pa ba? Actually, guys, merong doctor in, doctor in information technology, DIT. Meron ding doctor in specific na kasi pag doctor kasi sobrang specialized ka na, no? So, there are a lot of doctors out there. Hindi lang medical doctor. And then, government documents, no? You can get all this information. And, pag government documents, guys, no? It is very authentic. Kasi nga, galing siya mismo sa gobyerno. So, as much as possible, it is authentic. Kasi nga, the data will be coming from real, raw data. No? And then next is the policy reports and presented papers. Yun na nga, presented papers. No? So, sayang lang. Depende kasi, madali ng 10 years lang, wala na yung mga na-present na paper. So, they might not be relevant. But you can still see them and check them out, especially the recent ones. And use them as RRL. Alaikum assalam. So, these are the recommended steps in writing your RRL. So, the first one is find, search for the relevant literature. Madami, guys. Sobrang dami. Like, let's say, modality palang daan. Effect of different modalities in the reading comprehension. Ang dami na kaagad na research na relevant literature for that one. Okay? So, log, catalog, and synthesize. Anong ibig sabihin yan? No? So, basahin mo lahat nung na-download mo or nakita mo ng mga research studies. And then, underline or maybe highlight the the information that is relevant, no? So, something that is relevant to your own research topic. And then, i-catalog mo siya. Anong ibig sabihin ng catalog? Categorize, you know? Like, pero, syempre, makakatalog mo lang ito siya or makakategorize mo siya pag naka-decide ka na kung anong klaseng review of literature ang gagawin mo. Is it going to be context? Are you going for the historical one or the methodological one or the integrative one? Ikaw bahala, no? Or the theoretical one, ikaw. So, ibig sabihin kung theoretical, so most probably ang hina-highlight mo or ang tinitingnan mo sa mga RRL is probably the theories that was used, no? So, after mo siya na-categorize, nakuha mo na, i-synthesize mo ngayon. Gagawa ka ng sarili mong RRL. In which case, actually guys, this is really synthesized. You are really creating your own. Kasi nga, hindi ka pwedeng mag-copy-paste. So, ipaparaphrase mo pa yung idea nung na-research mo. No? So, hindi ka basta-basta magsusulat agad-agad, i-outline mo muna siya. Kasi nga, nag-i-aim ka ng organization and cohesiveness sa iyong output. Pagkatapos mo siya i-outline, saka ka pa mag-write up. So anyway, just draw up your outline and then write it up, recap, citation and referencing style. So I have already told you APA or the American Psychological Association, MLA, nakalimutan ko ang meaning, Chicago or IEEE, ito yung ginagamit sa mga industrial engineering courses, computer science courses, IT courses, ito siya usually. Pero sa education, APA talaga yan, and psychological aspects or topics, APA talaga yan. And may lumabas na nga na 7th edition, so ito na yung gagamitin natin. Okay? So, APA style of referencing. Just to give you an example of an in-text citation, ang ibig sabihin ng in-text, guys, so, ibig sabihin makikita siya on the paragraph. Okay? Ang literature cited kasi, or references, may sarili siyang page niya, di ba? At the very end, not really at the very end, but at the end of your research, meron kang literature cited or references or bibliography, you know? So, nandoon lahat yung research, yung mga research studies na ginamit mo or na-refer mo or na-cite mo, no? And it is arranged alphabetical order. Pero yung in-text citation, nasa loob mismo ng paragraph. So, sa APA style, actually marami guys, iba-iba ito, no? Merong ang sariling manual ang APA, lalo na yung 7th edition ngayon, iba na siya. So, like for example, this one nga, field, this is the last name, and then the year, this is the most common citation, kaya ito yung makikita nyo most of the time. Pag MLA naman, although you will not be using this, so just to give you an example, no, ganito naman siya. So, walang comma. Apelyido lang, and then yung page number. So, medyo magulo for me ang MLA. Siguro pasanayan na lang, pero ang nakasanayan ko talaga is APA, no? IEEE referencing style, although hindi ako sanay dito, ito yung pinakagusto ko. Madali siya guys, promise. Napakadali niya. Wait lang, mamaya papakitaan ko kayo. Chicago, I have never used Chicago. But this is quite, ito siya na citation, in-text citation. I have seen a lot of research paper na ganito mag-cite, no? So, ganyan siya mag-cite. Apelyido or the authors, and then walang comma, diretso yung published date, and then the page number. As you can see, APA talaga ang madali, no? Apelyido lang, and then comma, the published date, or the published year. So, it's quite easy. So, let's go to some examples. Actually, nag-prepare ako ng mga examples dito. Okay, so, ito yung na-publish na, na paper namin ng professor ko. But actually, ito yung original ko na research paper. Because this was actually a research paper for a subject in Masteral. Imagine you guys, lahat ng subjects namin sa Masteral, merong research paper. So, imagine niyo by SEM, tatlo yung subject ko. Ibig sabihin, tatlo rin ang research paper. Yehey! So, pinili ko lang yung medyo okay na mga research paper. Kasi yung mga iba kong research paper ay walang kwenta, no? Hindi nakakatuwa. Anyway, so, overall performance analysis of learner information system, or that is the LIS, yung ginagamit ng DepEd, no? So, ito yung abstract. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo guys na Well, don't worry, gagawin nyo rin to next time. Pagtapos na yung research paper ninyo, gagawa nyo siya ng executive summary or the abstract. So, this research paper is actually IEEE ang ginamit ko dito. You will see that, this one, tignan nyo to. I hope you will be able to see this one. Diba? Bracket 1. Okay? And then, sino pala ang nagsulat niyan? Sino ang nire-refer ko dito? So, pupunta ka ngayon sa references. And you will see in the references, as you can see, it is the Department Order 33, Series of 2013, Department of Education 2013. Yun siya yung sinasabing 1. Okay? So, di ba, mas madali siya. Tapos, pag isa-cite na naman ulit, or gagamitin ko na naman ulit siya as a citation, yun lang din. Number 1 na naman ang makita mo. So, it's very easy. IEEE is easy for me. Kung mapapansin nyo guys, ang konti lagi ng introduction ni Teacher Sura. Ang konti naman ng background of the study niya. Actually guys, edited na kasi to. Ito na yung final na term paper, no? Ito na yung final na research paper. But, yung mga pinasa-pasa ko una, hindi yan ganyan kaiksi. So, ito na, nagdaan na ito siya through much editing. Okay? So, anyway, dito tayo sa related studies. So, ang study ko is all about the overall performance analysis of learner information systems. So, what are the things that I included onto my review of related literature? So, ito ang related studies, guys. The same thing with RRL. So, I said something about LIS. So, sinabi ko lang na until 1993, okay, so I discussed how come nagkaroon ng LIS in the first place, no? And then next is web analytics and web metrics. So that I will able to give evidence that there are indeed web metrics and web analytics. Ang web metrics is yung measurement, yung criteria na kung saan makakasabi ka na ang isang system online is doing well. And then ang web analytics naman, this is a method of analyzing the performance of different web applications. Okay? So, I just included that one here as an evidence that there is really, you can analyze the overall performance of LIS, which is a web application. Okay? So, meron pa ba ako sinali? Okay. Theoretical framework ko is website evaluation is also essential in revealing human-computer interaction problems. Okay. So, HCI, human-computer interaction, is actually a theory under computer science. Human-computer interaction. Also, web analytics concept. Because there is a concept that we have to constantly analyze the performance of web applications. Nga naman, no? Kasi, ayan, no, to test. It is a fundamental, if not very basic, to test the website performance. Kasi nga, kung hindi mo siya itetest, kung hindi mo, tawag dito, kung hahayaan mo na lang ang website as is after development, paano na? 'Di ba? Kailangan mag-improve siya. Kailangan mag-upgrade siya. Kailangan it should conform to the needs and demands of the users. Okay? So, those are the two theories that I used in this research paper. So anyway, ayan lang naman ang research methodology ko, and simple lang siya. But the relevance, okay? The relevance of the topic, doon siya nagkaroon ng silbi, kumbaga pa. Because of the fact that I was studying about LIS, which is used all throughout the country. Used by DepEd. And used all throughout the country talaga. Walang eskwelahan na DepEd recognized ang hindi gumagamit ng LIS. So, well anyway, I was just what do you call this one? Ito talaga yung part na gusto kong i-emphasize sa inyo. So, not everything. Only, tignan nyo sa akin, 2 nga lang yung sinali ko sa related studies, no? Yung LIS at yung dahilan kung bakit pwedeng pag-aralan or i-analyze ang kanyang overall performance, because there is indeed a web analytics and web metrics. So, yeah, that's it. And then, sinabi ko lang na this is the basis why I'm doing this. So, next, let's see, baka nakakahiya itong capstone title na to. Wait lang. Okay, so PLE Software Application for Islamic Studies at Islamic School. Okay, this is just a proposal. It's not exactly a totoong research, no? Sayang guys, no? Kung tinuloy ko to, imagine mo. Hindi na sana tayo gumagamit ng Moodle, but rather yung ginawa ko sanang software. Pero hindi ito natuloy eh. Too bad. Anyway. So, yeah, yan sana yung gusto kong gawin. Which is, this is more or less, kamukha talaga ito ng ano talaga, ng Moodle actually. And, sayang, because it's going to be, customized. Kasi nga, gagawin ko siya sana in terms of the culture here in Wisdom Islamic School. Although, kasi yun na nga, hindi ito siya natuloy because it was rejected. Kasi nga daw, konti ang population ng Wisdom Islamic School. So, it is not daw relevant. Anyway. So, yun yung sinabi ng aking mga professor. Anyway. So, review of related literature. Hindi to siya masyadong maganda. Although, okay, there you go. So, I decided to say something about PLE or Personal Learning Environment. This is also the same as LMS or Learning Management Systems. Yun na nga, tulad ng Moodle, tulad ng Blackboard, tulad ng Edmodo, kung narinig nyo na, Quipper, ano yung gamit ng MCM? Blackboard, ang gamit ng MCM, okay. Quipper, Edmodo, Moodle, Google Classroom, okay, ito yan siya. Yun sana yung gusto kong gawin. So, yan ang PLE, guys. Personal Learning Environment, yan siya. And then, I also, okay, sa mga systems design. So, I am more on the design here, no? Ang inano ko, ang aking, tawag dito, ang aking context. And then, I also gave some examples of different LMS. Like Moodle, ayan nga, nilagay ko dito ang history ng Moodle. Nilagay ko rin ang history ng Blackboard. Okay? And then, diretso na ako sa methodologies anyway. So, that's a different thing now. Let's see this one. This is another one. Ang title naman nitong paper na to ay Importance of Data Warehouse on Achieving Business Intelligence. Okay. So, as you can see guys, no, kaya actually ng abstract na one paragraph lang. Anyway, so objectives nito, how is data warehouse crucial? Okay, anyway, this is just a descriptive study. And ang definition of terms ko is conceptual lang. Okay, dito tayo sa review of related studies. Guys, kung papansinin niyo, no, iba yung format nito. Because again, we were following the IEEE standard. Because again, computer science is under the IEEE standard. Anyway, so review of related studies, ang sinali ko is of course data warehouse, and then medyo mahaba-haba yung ano ko sa data warehouse, or the ETL, or that is the extract, transformation, and loading of the data. And then also the business intelligence and analytics, kasi alam nyo guys, sa panahon ngayon, sa sobrang laki, sa sobrang dami ng information na nakukuha ng malalaking corporation, hindi na sapat ang database. Ang database kasi, yun yung paglalagyan ng data. Pero sa sobrang laki nga, nagkakaroon na ng data warehouse. Okay? So, meron tayong tinatawag na business intelligence and analytics. So, ititingnan natin kung gaano ka-effective yung paggamit mo ng data warehouse onto your business. So, yan siya, sinali ko rin dyan. And then, what else? Ano pa ba? Okay. Oh, that's it, no? Diretso na ako sa discussion and findings, so. Well, anyway. Yeah. Because this is not exactly a, tawag dito, research paper talaga. This is more like a, what do you call this one? Concept paper on what is the importance of data warehouse. Okay, next. Last na ba to? This is a different one. So, Wisdom Islamic School Administrative and Faculty Office Network Design. So, networking naman to siya na, na subject. Kapoy magbasa talaga ng research. Kahit sarili ko na tong research, guys, tingnan nyo na nahihirapan pa ako magbasa. So, ang sinali ko sa review of related is, of course, networks and networking. Why are they important? What are networks and what is networking? No? So, ang next is local area network and its use in schools, of course, because I am talking about the networks used in a school, no? So probably I am going to give evidence that indeed networks are being used in different schools, no? So yan, sinali ko yan dyan. And then see last, advantages in installing or of installing a school network. Yes, madami ring ano dyan eh, madaming research about that. So, that in itself will, this part of the review of related literature will help you pataasin pa ang probability na ma-accept tong research study na to as a good research study. Anyway, bakit nasira ito? Too bad. Well, kung na yan siya? Research methodology na ba yan siya? Methodology na? Oh no, that is my conceptual framework. Okay, wait lang. Okay, this is a type of ano, no? Oh, wait lang ha. Sayang, hindi ko This is IPO. Input, output. Input din niya ng identified needs. That is also input. Input, process, output. Sana nga yung ano ko. Wala ba ako ditong IPO? IPO na ano? Na design. Ito. There you go. This is also, this is an example. Total, nandito na rin kasi guys. This is an example of a conceptual framework na IPO. No? So, ang input ko is yung mga coursework, quizzes, review work, videos, blog links. Kayo rin, meron din kayong input, and then it's going to be processed by the application na hindi ko nagawa, sorry naman, and then ang kanyang final output would be the collaborative environment, enhanced method of instruction, and improved scores, learning, and overall performance of the students. Okay, so, well, anyway, that is just the conceptual framework. So, hindi yan talaga siya, sorry naman, hindi natuloy, too bad. But that is the, depende talaga guys, no, sa type of research study. Kaya nag-iiba-iba yung mga laman ng research study, no? Anyway, yun lang ba? Oh, by the way, guys, yung Mendeley. Okay. So, I would really recommend you using Mendeley kasi nga, first of all, maganda siya and it will really make your life easier, no? So, pag meron ka ng Mendeley desktop, I was actually trying to log in again kasi naalala ko na yung password ko. Tignan natin ha. Okay, nakalog-in na ako, yes. Okay. Anyway, yung cookies na yan. So, since nakalog-in na ako, let's see kung maghanap na ako ng ano na yun. Effect of modular learning to stress level of students. Okay. Kunin natin tong sa, ito daw. Wait lang. That one. Pero actually, maganda yun, guys. Ito daw, may DOI. A cognitive, okay. Since meron siyang ganito. Guys, tignan niyo ha. Like, i-download ko ito ha. Yung PDF niya. Maghanap tayo ng ito. ResearchGate. Okay. So, for example, nandito na yan siya. You can download the file. You can read it. Kayong bahala. Pero kung gusto niyo na nailagay siya sa Mendeley, then you can just click on the plugin, sign in. There you go. Sign in. Meow. Biskay. Hi, there you go. Alhamdulillah. Ayan. So, meron na siyang connection. Ayan. So, i-refer ko na lang siya. Tapos, i-add ko siya doon sa library ko. Or, meron akong mga collection kasi dito, no? Meron akong para sa PLE. Meron akong para sa project management. Kayo bahala. So, sa library na lang, i-add ko siya, kunwari. Okay? And then, kailangan mo lang siya dito. Pupunta ka dito and i-sync. No? Para lahat nung nandoon sa online mo na account, like this one. So, I have my own library here online. Pero, meron din akong library offline. No? Tapos, tignan natin kung andyan na siya. So, all documents. Meow, hindi ba siya napunta? Grabe, ang tagal ko nang nag-research. Wow! 2018 pa ako last nag-research. This is impossible. This is impossible because I've been doing my research since 2019. Kahit nga nung 2020, may ginagawa akong research. Well, anyway. Okay. So, as you can see, andito na siya, no? Sa, sa online ko na account. Pero, hindi ata siya makapag-sync dito. I-sync ko daw ulit. So, all documents. Recently added daw tayo. Ayun, nandito na siya. Okay. Nandito na siya. Kaya lang, hindi pala siya maganda na resource kasi nga wala siyang, kulang siya sa, tawag dito. Kulang siya sa information. So, I can remove this one, sorry. I can remove that one. What I can do is add the file. Ayan, nandyan na siya. Okay. Ayan, so malalagay mo na yan siya dito sa yung Mendeley. And you can use it later on. No? Pwede mo rin siyang basahin dito kung ikaw bahala, kung gusto mo dito magbasa. So this can be used now, Angela, for your kung for example lang ha, kung for example lang. Pero actually, kayong lahat, pwede nyo ito magamit, lalo na modular courses. Ayan, ensuring effective learning from modular courses, a cognitive psychology skill learning perspective. Magtingin kayo dito sa niya. Sa tawag dito, ano to? Advantages of, advantages of modularization. I think iba to siya. Sorry guys. This is a different type of modularization. Ang meaning niya ng modularization dito is pinaikli-ikli ng mga courses. Pero pwede rin, basahin. Pwede ito siya guys, actually. Kung gusto niyo siyang basahin. Guys, ganun maghanap ng mga ng mga resources. Pwede kayo sa ganito sa mga ResearchGate. Yan, favorite ko ang ResearchGate. Meron akong account dyan, pero nakalimutan ko ang login. Din, Google Scholar. Isa pa sa mga favorite mga lugar. ResearchGate. Ano pa nga dito, pwede kayong maghanap like let's say online versus modular. Ganyan nyo lang, bam! Hanap lang kayo. Kahit dito, let's say, ayan, radiation to the eyes, impact of device radiation to health. I don't know why I search for those things. Ayan, Diyan kayo maghanap. Ang dami-dami dyan, guys, promise. Kuha-kuha lang kayo dyan, no? As in, sobrang dami, guys. Hanap-hanap lang talaga kayo dito, lahat yan, lahat, basta ganyan, guys, may PDF, ma-download niyo. Kung ito, HTML lang. Promise, guys, napakadami talaga na pwede ninyong magamit, no? Anyway, meron pa pala ako isang ituro. Kung ayaw ninyong maggamit ng Mendeley, let's see. Kung ayaw ninyong gumamit ng Mendeley, ay naku, bakit ko sinerch ang Google? Like, let's say, online versus modular learning research. Sige daw. Okay. So, pag dyan siya, hindi ata yun. Kasi meron yun dito dati, guys, yung makita mo lang good yung where was that? Sorry, ito pala, guys, ang pindutin, kairita. Ayan, kapihin nyo na lang yan, bem. Diretso, copy-paste na. Ayan, nandyan na yung nyo. Ang mahirap lang dito, ikaw pa ang for example, ito naman yung isa-site mo. So, APA ang kapihin mo, diba? Pag yan naman i-site mo, ikaw pa ang alphabetical order. Pero kung meron kang Mendeley, siya na ang bahala. But then, depende yan sa inyo. Guys, ito, cute. Meow. Copy-paste lang. Meow. Letter D yun. Okay. Bam. Diba? Enjoy lang siya, guys. So, maraming paraan na mapadali ang buhay ninyo. Actually, imagine nyo na lang, guys. Sobrang swerte nyo na, Kasi dati walang ganito. Walang computer dati eh. Walang Google Scholar. Wala be. Typewriter lang. Kahit dati pa talaga, noon pa talaga, sinusulat nila ang mga bagay-bagay. So, alhamdulillah, nandito na itong mga tools na ito para sa inyo at gamitin nyo na para makapaggawa kayo ng magandang research paper. Anyway, so that's it for today. So, I hope you would be able to write your RRL and I am expecting the draft on November 18. Okay? Sa GC lang magpasa para makita ako. Or, no, I'm sorry. Huwag nyo ipasa sa GC but rather i-edit nyo na kaagad doon sa Google Docs. Ilagay nyo na kaagad doon sa Google Docs, ha? Okay, thank you so much. Well, that's it for today. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaika. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.